First, I want to begin with a long box strategy. I just want to explain to you why algo trading, right? The significance of this. Just give you 3 case studies and 3 strategies to highlight this point. So let's start with the long box strategy. It's a very simple strategy where you buy a box spread, which is you buy a bull call spread and a bear put spread, and you enter every Friday at 9:45 a.m. So between 9:45 and 10 a.m. in the morning, and you exit on Thursday expiry at 3:15. So this is all weekly expiry, right? And we tested this for Bank Nifty. There's a link in the reference if you want to get more details on the article. We backtest this for 2019 for 1 year. And if you look on the left, that's the PNL graph of this strategy. So as you can see, it's quite profitable and it's a good strategy. And on the right, you see the drawdown curve. So the drawdowns are there, but they are quite in control. Right. So this is a long box strategy. Again, I'm not presenting these strategies so you start trading them tomorrow. I am just trying to make a point regarding this. So I'll come to that point after the next slide. What we did in that strategy is we added a profit target of 100 points, right? So whenever your long box makes 100 points profit, you exit the long box, right? Now, can we practically implement this strategy manually? The answer is, of course, yes. There are 4 legs you have to enter, and when you exit, there are 4 legs when you have to exit. The problem comes because if you enter 2 legs and you don't enter the other 2 legs, the price will change, your profitability will change, your execution really matters, and it's really important out here, right? So although you can do this manually, an automated system like Blitz is very useful for algos where you can execute all 4 legs simultaneously, and it can monitor the stop loss for you throughout the day. And you can and it will exit whenever your profit target is reached, right? This can be done manually, but it's difficult, and you want to spend your time doing better things than just sitting in front of your screen and waiting for that 100 points to hit, right? Second strategy is the gold scalping strategy for those people who like commodities. Crude oil scalping strategy. Forget the title. So we ran this for crude oil. It's a scalping strategy. So what we do is a buy is triggered when the parabolic SAR is greater than the low. Is less than the low, right? So when the SAR is below the low, it means that the stock is in crude oil is in an uptrend. That's when we note the high bar, and we look for a candle which is a white candle. So the open is equal to the low. This is when I note down the high price and I wait. I don't do anything. Then I wait for this high price to be taken out. So when the price is greater than this noted high price, I will enter. And on the short side is the absolute mirror image or the reverse. That whenever the parabolic SAR is above the price, means you are in a short trend, and there's a black candle or a red candle, depends on how you look at charts, or when the open is equal to the high. That's when I will note down the low of this candle, and I will go short when the price goes below this low. Then it could be 2 candles later, 3 candles later, how many ever candles later. So we backtested this with a profit target of 10 points because it's a scalping strategy. The objective is to make little money and a lot of very frequently. And the stop loss we had kept was the entry candle's low or the high, depending on if you're long or short. And it gave a very good 29% CAGR, right? So friends, everybody would love a strategy like this, would love to make 29% a year. So this is a great strategy, but the caveat, if I add a slippage of 10 basis points, right? If my execution is poor, if I get late when I get the signal to enter, or if I get late when I exit, this profitable strategy, which from 1 lakh rupees, it had gone earlier to 3 lakh rupees. From 1 lakh rupees, you make a loss of 30%, right? Just by adding a 10 basis point slippage. If I increase the slippage to 20 basis points, if your execution is even worse, then your 1 lakh rupees becomes 15,000 rupees. So 85% of your capital you lose, right? So this very good profitable strategy becomes a loss-making strategy if your execution is poor, right? And this is a function of speed as well as your execution logic. You can't just keep especially in illiquid instruments, can't just keep hitting the bid and the ask on the opposite side with market orders, right? You have to do it more intelligently. The third case study I want to present is predatory bidding case study. So if you look at the top left order book, currently the market is at 82.565 is the best bid, and 83.9 is the best ask, right? So you think that you want to buy, but you don't want to be very aggressive. So you put your 100 size buy order at 82.75, which is 2 ticks above the best bid right now. So you're happy hoping for execution. But how many times have we seen that immediately after you put this order, there will be another order with like a small quantity, say 1 to 10 shares, just 1 tick above you, right? Again, what will you do is you will keep increasing your price to be the best bid, go above this guy, and this algo will automatically come above you. And he'll take your price. If you look at the third graph on the right, it'll take you to 83.75 from 82.75, close to the ask price. Right? It keeps driving you towards the ask price. And then magically what you notice is that 83.80, the price which was bidding you up, vanishes, and somebody comes and sells to you at 83.75, right? So instead of paying 82.75, you've actually ended up paying 83.75 for this buy. You ended up paying 1 rupee, or in this case 1.3% more than what you should have paid, right? So this is predatory bidding algos which are there in the market, which you'll notice if you are sitting on the terminal frequently, which is another reason why you need a smart execution logic to kind of stay away from these kind of predatory bidding algos. So this is the three reasons broadly in terms of use cases. There are many other reasons, including discipline and breadth of analysis, where you need algos. I'm not going to go into the details of what algo trading is, because I think Peter has covered that pretty well. I'm just going to present next for individual traders like ourselves, what are your options? How can you get algos? How can you automate your trading strategies, right? So the first option is the popular option where you use a charting software. And I'm just going to present the architecture and take you through the pros and cons. In this architecture on the right, if you see, the exchange is connected to the Nirmal Bang servers. Right, the Nirmal Bang servers have Symphony XTS, and that Symphony XTS is what reads the information from the exchange and is located on Nirmal Bang servers, which you connect to from your PC, right, in a charting software. So on your PC, you'll have a AMI broker system. Within the AMI broker system, you will have your AFL written. It could be AMI broker, it could be Ninja Trader, it could be MT4, it could be TradingView, it could be any charting software. I'm just giving you a generic example. So you have your custom strategy written inside AMI broker or any other system in an AFL, right? Now, this AMI broker needs live market data. So most people get this live market data from a third-party vendor like True Data or Global Data Feeds or eSignal, etc. Right? Now these market data vendors, third-party vendors, get this data from the exchange. There's a delay and lag at their end when they process this data into bars, and then there's a delay and lag of them sending that or broadcasting that data to your AMI broker, and then the data coming in the AMI broker, right? So this means that you get your data updates with a lag. Second thing that happens is your AMI broker cannot talk to Symphony directly, so there is a bridge involved. Now there are various bridges, like Symphony Fuse is one bridge, Algoji is another bridge. There is Stock Developers is the third bridge, which are available in the market, which take the signals from AMI broker and send their orders to Symphony XTS, right? Now another problem is that this is a one-way communication. So AMI broker sends information to the bridge, which sends it to Symphony. But if your orders have got filled or rejected or part filled, that information is not sent back to AMI broker for further processing, right? So that's another problem. This is a very good architecture for people who want to begin with algos, because the initial cost is very low, but I'll come to that in a comparison slide. The second architecture, the second option for individual traders is what Peter had alluded to in the custom APIs of XTS. So here you have XTS on the Nirmal Bang servers, right? Your custom trading system or your algo system is connected to Symphony XTS via the APIs for it gets market data directly from Nirmal Bang servers, and it sends orders directly to the Nirmal Bang servers via the API. So that lag is not there. And this is a two-way communication. And at your side, when there is an algo system deployed, you will have a backend system which does all the order management, bookkeeping of all the orders and the market data. You have a user interface which you will interact with to start, pause, stop algos, have monitoring screens to see your profitability of your algos, uh, among and set parameters of your algos, etc. And there will be the algo which is coded, or you could have multiple algos which are connected to the same backend, right? This is the second architecture. Again, your system can be on your PC, laptop, or on the cloud. Cloud is preferred because of stability, more robustness. And the third architecture is these online platforms, like you have Tradetron, which Peter alluded to, where the same architecture as the previous one, but the backend and the algo resides on the Tradetron servers. And all you need to do is have a web browser and from your PC, which you can connect to the Tradetron servers. But the algo is running and the backend is running on the Tradetron server. So they manage everything for you. You just need to log in and run your algos, right? So just a broad comparison of all the three options that you have as an individual trader, right? So the online platforms, the popular options like Tradetron and Streak, charting softwares like AmiBroker, TradingView, MT4, NinjaTrader, and algo trading systems like Blitz, FlexTrade, and ArcTrader with XTS. Again, going for the costing, which is important for us. For online platforms, the initial cost, there's no initial cost, right? You just have to take a subscription. There's a monthly recurring fee, which is also quite low, and you can start your algos on these platforms, right? For charting softwares, the initial cost is low because to develop these AFLs, if you know it, great. If you don't know it, you can outsource it to developers like us, or there are a lot of other freelancers out there. So it's cheap. But the recurring cost out here is high because you have to not only pay for your AmiBroker licenses, you have to pay for your third-party market data vendors, plus you have to pay for the bridge, and you have to pay for the bridge plus API, right? So the recurring cost is quite high, but the initial cost is low, so it's a good place to start. And algo trading systems, which are the higher end or the cutting edge, the initial cost is high because to develop this it takes time and expertise, but the recurring cost is very low. Second consideration we should have is stability of the system, right? It's not just the cost which matters, because you're trading worth lakhs of rupees, and a system error or a missed trade or a failure can really cause problems in the P&L, right? So you want a stable system which doesn't miss trades, doesn't miss orders, right? Or doesn't have any errors. So from a stability perspective, the online platforms are very good because they are very well tested and they're hosted on the cloud, so you don't need to manage them. Charting software stability wise are very poor because of multiple reasons. One reason which I told you is it's a one-way communication. Second reason is they are not made for algo trading, they're made for charting, and they're made for analysis. They have functionality for algo trading, but they're not made for that, right? So there is stability issues. And for algo trading systems, stability is good. It is quite good. The only reason why I say that this stability is not as good as the online platforms is because here you are dependent on the APIs, right? So with Nirmal Bang and XTS, you have no problems. But in a lot of other cases, your broker's technology matters a lot. And if the technology is not good, then the systems, don't perform as well. Third criteria should be customization, right? Because no two people in our experience, we've built more than 200 algos, custom algos for people. No two people have the same algo, right? Everybody wants something different. Some people want a trailing stop loss, some people want a fixed stop loss, some people want a different way of using RSI, some people want an options, 4-leg, 5-leg algos, right? So how much customization you can do for your own strategy, like what all custom things you want, how much can that be done in different platforms. So online platforms, there's zero customization. Whatever pre-built things they have, you can only use that. You cannot add any customized logic out there. Charting software, there is customization, but it is limited by what the charting software allows you. And in algo trading systems like Blitz or FlexTrade or ArcTrader, fully customized. You can do whatever you want, what is not available any other platforms. This is the biggest point why people prefer this and stability, of course, and scalability, the third aspect. Scalability wise, online platforms are great. You can do up to 200, 300 instruments, no problem. If you want to trade those many instruments. Charting software scalability is low, up to 20 to 50 instruments. If you do, it's fine. Beyond that, your system will start hanging, you start missing trades, you start having issues. And for algo trading systems or the custom platforms, it's hugely scalable. You can do easily more than 2,000 portfolios. You can do much more also if you have better infrastructure on the cloud. So scalability wise, these are the considerations. Fifth factor is if you want to do it yourself, right? You don't want to outsource it to anyone. You want to do it yourself. You want to create your own algos. So the difficulty for doing it yourself on online platforms is the lowest because it's simple drag and drop or selecting from drop downs. So it's very easy to do it yourself. For charting software, it's again medium difficulty because all you need to do is learn AFL or easy language coding, and you can start creating your custom algos in AmiBroker or MP4 or NinjaTrader or anywhere. In terms of algo trading systems, the difficulty is very high if you want to do it yourself because you not only have to learn the high performance programming languages like Java and C++, you also have to understand APIs for your system to be fast and handle load. You have to do multi-threading and you have to build GUIs as well, right? So it's very difficult to do it unless you are an expert programmer yourself. Sixth criteria is the add-ons required besides the platform, right? So in online platforms, there is no add-on required. In charting software, as I told you earlier, you need a market feed and you need a bridge. So popular players have noted them down on the slide: market feed, global data, true data, eSignal. And for bridge, you have Symphony Fuse, you have AlgoG's bridge, and you have Stock Developer, the three bridge options, right? And algo trading systems also, you don't need any add-ons. I noted down some issues with summarizing this slide for these three options for your individual traders. So for online platforms, customization is a problem. You can't customize it. Second is it's limited beyond standard functionality. And third problem, which some people are very afraid of, is intellectual property, right? Because your algo resides on the servers of the third-party platforms. So your intellectual property is not with you. For charting softwares, there are issues with multi-client APIs. Some people like Fuse and AlgoG have solved it with a copy trader kind of a concept, but it's still not the same as a multi-client. If you want to do a PMS or a pseudo PMS in any serious fashion, you can't use these softwares. As I said, order rejections and part fills, it's a one-way communication. You don't know about these things. So your algo can't react to take corrective action. Fills and execution are poor because there's a lag in your market data, plus there's a lag in processing because these systems are not made for algo trading, they're for charting. There are a lot of times that people would have noticed in these bridges that you miss trade sometimes. It's not very stable. And multi-leg orders are a challenge with these bridges, right? If you want to do 4-leg, 5-leg kind of, 6-leg kind of orders with delta hedging, that's not possible. Issues with algo trading systems is one is cost, initial cost. Initial cost is higher, obviously, because it takes a lot of expertise to build. The development time is higher. So typically, AmiBroker charting software can be done in a few days to a week max. For algo trading systems, it takes 4 to 6 weeks, right? And you need a lot of technical expertise to build this. These are the limitations.